thanks for visiting my channel. It is that time of year. Fall and soup just seem to go together. A couple of weeks ago I did a French onion soup that was safe for canning because I love to can and I love having fresh homemade soups on my shelf for the winter. And it turned out delicious. So I thought I would take some time and show you how to make it because I wanted to make up another batch so that I have plenty on my shelf for the winter. And it was just really good. It was really simple and I thought I'd bring you along and show you how easy it is to make French onion soup. Now I did say that this recipe is totally safe for canning. It has been tested, tried and true, and you can use it for canning, but you do not have to can it. So it'll make about 5 quarts of soup, and you can either eat it, make up the batch, eat it, can it if you're a canner, or you can even stick some in the freezer if you want to save some for later. But it's really yummy and super easy to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with about 4 pounds of onions, and that's what I have here. It's 8-9 cups of onions that I've sliced thin. I just want to show you. I cut my onion in half and then I sliced the halves in thin slices like this. And I have my stock pot heating up, and we're going to use about a tablespoon of butter. Now, usually when you make French onion soup, and I've made it quite a few times and I've made it different ways, but usually you take a lot of time to caramelize your onions really slowly in your pot and go that route to develop flavor. Well, when I was looking through my canning book for a recipe that was safe for canning, they used this method that I'm going to show you today, and I thought it worked really, really well, and it was a lot easier than taking the time to slowly caramelize onions, which is an art in and of itself if you've ever caramelized onions, but they are totally delicious. It just takes a lot of hands-on time. This method it still takes about the same amount of time, but it's a lot easier. You don't have to stand and watch your pot and watch them caramelize for the hour and a half that it takes to get that nice caramel color. So put in a tablespoon of butter into your stock pot, your 4 pounds of onions, give that a little stir, and then to that we are going to add about a teaspoon of dried thyme, some salt and pepper. You know me, I love the pink Himalayan salt, but you can use whatever you like or whatever you have on hand. And then some fresh ground black pepper. And that's enough to get us started. You can always season it more if it needs it at the end. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 cups of dry white wine. Now, last time I used Pinot Grigio, and it turned out really good. We really like the flavor. But any dry white wine that you like will work. As I was researching recipes, people tend to be all over the place with what they use. Lots of people like the Pinot Grigio. Some people like Chardonnay. So just use whatever you like. You just don't want a sweet wine, you want a dry white wine. So we're going to pour in about 2 cups of this. And if you get this size bottle, it's approximately 3 8-ounce cups. So we're going to pour in most of it. And then just give it a stir. And we're going to cover it and let the onions infuse with all that flavor for about an hour. We want to cook the onions until they're nice and tender. And then once we get to that point, you want a medium-high heat for this. Cook them with the lid on until they get nice and tender, and then we're going to take the lid off. And then we're going to caramelize them at that point, and that happens a lot faster than standing here for the hour and stirring and watching them caramelize. So like I said, this is kind of a different method for making French onion soup, but it works really well, and I'm sure you're going to like it as much as I do. So I'm going to let this go for about an hour or so till our onions are nice and tender, and I'll bring you back. Hi guys, we're back. Our onions have been simmering in the wine for about an hour and 15 minutes or so, and now they've gotten nice and soft. And I think what I'm going to do is bring you in close so that you can kind of see what's going on in the pot, because now is when we are going to do the fun part, which is caramelize our onions. So hold that thought for just 1 second and I'm going to bring you in close. Okay guys, hopefully you can see what's going on in my pot here. The onions are nice and tender, and you have some of that wine that's still left in the bottom of your pot, as well as some of the juice from the onions. So what we want to do now is I crank up the heat so we can get all of the juice to evaporate. And then once that happens, your onions will start to caramelize. So at this point, you don't want to leave your pot because you're going to want to stir it to just keep moving your onions around so that they caramelize but don't burn. We don't want them to burn. And this takes a little while, probably a good, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes or so. But first we have to get all of the juice to evaporate, and then the caramelization will start to happen. Okay guys, it's been about 35 minutes for all of my liquid to evaporate, and then my onions are starting to caramelize. See all that beautiful color we're getting in the pan, and the onions are starting to turn. Now you want to let your onions sit without stirring long enough for them to caramelize a little bit, but you don't want them to burn because then it'll taste bitter. But the more of that caramel coloring you get, that means flavor, and that's what we're looking for. But we're really, really close here. So like I said, this process of getting all your liquid to evaporate and caramelizing your onions is going to take another 30 to 40 minutes. So I'm going to let this go for just a tad longer. Get a little bit more color on my onions, but see how nice and soft they are, and it smells so amazing. And you can see how we're getting all that caramel color in the bottom of the pan. Okay, so at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to take the final cup of our wine and we're going to deglaze our pan. So pour that in your pan. And then you're going to use your spoon and scrape up all of those golden bits off of the bottom of your pan. And we're going to cook the onions in the wine for about another minute or two. You want to scrape up all of that great flavor and get some concentration of the wine flavors going too, because the alcohol will evaporate as it cooks and you'll be left with that really nice flavor. See, isn't that beautiful? Onions are nice and tender, perfectly caramelized, and they smell so amazing. Really, really yummy. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add 3 quarts of beef stock and 1 quart of chicken stock. You can use all beef stock if you prefer, but I like the flavor profile of using both. So I'm going to go ahead and add my 1 quart of chicken stock. And then we're going to add 3 quarts of beef stock, and we're going to let all this simmer for about 15 minutes. And after it all simmers up, I will bring you back and show you how to finish it all up. Okay guys, I wanted to bring you in close so you can see the finished product. Look how beautiful that is. I made some croutons out of a crusty artisan bread I had, and then I put them over top of the soup and then put the shredded Swiss cheese on top. But you can use Gruyere, you can use provolone, any kind of melty cheese is perfect. Look at that. Total perfection. All those beautiful caramelized onions, your beautiful bread, and your melty cheese. So, so delicious. Okay guys, that's it for homemade French onion soup. How easy was that? It does take time, it is time consuming, but it's really, really easy. It is a really simple soup, so it's really important that you use high quality ingredients. I used nice, big, sweet onions, but you can use a combination of different kinds of onions, whatever you like. Just slice them nice and thin, and like I said, there are other ways of making this soup, but when I found this recipe and tried it, it was so simple and worked so well, and you really get great flavor out of it, and just a beautiful bowl of soup. And like I said, I am going to pressure can mine. If you want to pressure can it, you want to adjust for your altitude, and it's 90 minutes for quarts, 75 minutes for pints. It cans beautifully, tastes just as fresh and delicious as the day you made it. So I hope you'll give this recipe a try. If you enjoyed coming along with me today, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. We'll have some more fun recipes, some DIY beauty products. We're going to be talking about more beauty stuff in the days and weeks ahead. That seems to be a hot topic for us housewives and women, and just all kinds of fun things that I'm going to be adding to my channel, and I don't want you to miss out, so hit that subscribe button. Thanks for coming along with me today, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.